Hello there my fellow holotable heroes and welcome to another SWGOH video. So I'm back here with a new Conquest video. So in this one I'll show you how I completed here in Sector 1 in hard difficulties all 3 feats against the Padme team. I'll show you 2 battles, so one will be with Vader where we'll do a big hit over 200k. So there's a devastating strike feat. And then another one with troopers where I'll do crush them, where you have to defeat at least 4 enemies in the same turn, and then chain attack feat where you have to take at least 15 turns before enemy gets to take a turn. So this is not like 15 consecutive turns, but actually 15 turns before enemy takes a turn. Now when you do that you have to be careful, because as soon as you hit crate that's there, for some reason Jedi Knight Anakin bonus turn will trigger. I don't know why, but that's how it is. That's why most likely in order for you that you can do 15 consecutive turns, you will have to bring in somebody like Thrawn that can go ahead and fracture Anakin, so you don't need to worry about his bonus turn jumping in and stopping your consecutive turns. Now let me show you my inventory of discs. Now this time obviously without cooling systems discs, these discs themselves don't add so much really, I think. At least I didn't pick up anything that would be really crucial, but anyway, just for reference, these are the discs that I will have here equipped. So I got the Leader's Resolve, then I got Power. I was just trying to collect any sort of disc that add extra offense, extra damage, or give you some bonus turn or extra speed, or remove turn meter. I also picked up this entrenched one, but I'm not sure is it really helpful so far. And then we got defensive buff and offensive buff. So these are all my discs, but again, for this particular sector 1 here, I don't think you need any specific discs in order to get this done, because the teams that I'll show you, they themselves have enough firepower to burn through Padme and give you all the feats. So looking at enemy modifiers, luckily these guys do not get Steadfast Retribution Galactic Republic modifier that reflects damage back on you, because this would be probably much harder than the only modifier here is the boxed in. So at the start everybody get healing immunity at the end of the battle, which can't be prevented, however, and also get inflicted with damage over time. But then anytime you do attack the crate, then you recover some health and protection and cleanse of those dots. So at some point you probably will have to start hitting crate, and that's where Anakin would immediately get ticked off if you do that. I'm not sure why Anakin is so emotionally attached to that crate. Maybe he has something special hidden inside. I don't know. I wasn't able to open it. But just something to bear in mind when you go in. Do not touch the crate as long as Anakin is either fractured or alive. Okay, so this is the team that I'll be using here to complete the devastating strike feat, where you have to do at least 200k damage in a single hit. If you got Darth Vader, this should be really straightforward, because obviously his Culling Blade does insane amount of damage. And then when you got Thrawn in there, you can just immediately put Anakin on fracture and then go around, do merciless, and just take everybody out. Then obviously I brought in Palpatine for his leadership, so we can get some turn meter train going. Just brought in Royal Guard as the tank. Any sort of tank will do there, really. It doesn't need to be Royal Guard specifically. And then you can either use Watt to even boost further damage on Vader, or also Piet, his unique as well, will add Emperor's Trap stacking buffs to your Emperor allies, so will boost your damage even further. So hitting that 200k really shouldn't be all that much of a problem. Now let me show you my mods here. So my Palpatine, I do have him modded for potency, really. That was the main focus for him, so hopefully we can land some stuns. Then looking at Vader, I obviously have him modded for damage, offense, how I really should have him. But in my case here, I have too much speed on him, because there are so many Jedi there on Padme team that he will be getting so much speed from his unique that he will actually go before Thrawn. So ideally, you will want to adjust speeds so that Thrawn goes first, so he can go ahead, put an immediate fracture on Jedi Knight Anakin, so then Vader can use his Force Crush straight away. Because if Vader goes first, uses Force Crush, what will happen is Anakin then will get his bonus turn because he will hit the crate. But still, in my case, in the battle, you will see my Vader did go first, so I just didn't use Force Crush initially. I just waited until I had a fracture there on Anakin, so I was able then, to use Force Crush later. But ideally, if you want, you can adjust your speed so that Thrawn goes first and Vader goes second. And this would make it much quicker and smoother than what I will show you. Then we have Thrawn here, as mentioned before, you know, he's very fast here. I put my best speed set on him, so he's at 337. Then Royal Guard, Relic Free, doesn't really matter to be honest, you know, just have some sort of tank in there, just for some extra security in case things do go wrong. And then finally, Piet here, I have him modded for damage in this case and some speed. But again, mods on any of these guys don't really matter, just that Thrawn is really fast, ideally goes first, and then Vader that goes second and, you know, does some big hits. The other guys here are not really all that important. Alright, so here we go. So the start of battle, unfortunately my Vader was too quick, so I didn't use Force Crush to begin with, because this would give Anakin bonus turn when you hit the crate, so just hit a basic there on Kenobi, not to trigger taunt. Wait for the fracture to land there on Anakin, and now we can just go out here. Let's put over Mark on Royal Guard so that he's tanking for us. Alright, let's do an AoE here, get some days, dispel buffs. Now just waiting for Vader to get a turn. There we go. Now I can go ahead, do Force Crush, don't need to worry about Anakin because he's fractured. I will save the Culling Blade still until I get another Force Crush out, just to make sure I have enough debuffs on the board, so I can then do, you know, a big hit there that will be over 200k. There goes Kenobi already. Alright Vader, let's see what you can do. We got 6 debuffs there on Anakin. Boom, there we go, over 500,000 damage. So, you know, this was the easy feat there. Had to hit the crate there as well. It looks like counts as the enemy. Alright, just get Ahsoka out. Alright, she's stunned. Let's go after Padme now. Let's put again over Mark on Royal Guard. Okay, take out Barris, take out Padme, and there we go. So this was kind of the easy bit here. Getting that big hit with Vader, I think it shouldn't be too challenging to complete. Alright, and now for the second battle in this video, where I will complete the remaining 2 feats where you have to get 15 consecutive turns before enemy takes a turn, as well as take 4 enemies at the same turn. I will use Troopers with Thrawn. The reason why Thrawn, as mentioned before, you want to put a fracture over on Anakin, because as soon as you hit the crate, he will get a bonus turn, and then he will interrupt your 15 consecutive turns. Now, the actual consecutive turns is not really that challenging with Troopers, because once they get going, they'll keep going and going and going. Slightly trickier is obviously aligning that one big AoE that will take out 4 enemies. So the overall strategy is fracture Anakin, take out Kenobi so he stops taunting, then, you know, just do a hit or 2 on each of the enemies just to get their protection down, and then keep hitting crate just to build up stacks of Emperor's buff from Piet. And then once you got enough stacks, you just drop an AoE with either Piet or Veers, and that should do it. Now before we get into battle, let me just show here the mods. Obviously we got Veers here for his leadership, so he can keep the turn meter train going, that we can take so many turns, and every time we take a turn, because of Pet's unique, we are getting Emperor's buff, which will boost our offense. And that's why I actually put some offense set here on Veers, so if I do use his AoE, that hopefully will do some big hits. Then my Piet here, also modded for damage as well. And as well, you know, I had to reduce his speed because remember, we want Thrawn to go first. And Imperial Trooper allies, they'll be getting plus 20 speed from Veer's leadership. So just something to bear in mind. Just mod your Thrawn to be by far the fastest so he can go out and get Fracture. Now, one good thing about Piet is his AoE will also dispel buffs on light side enemies, because if the enemies there, they got either critical damage immunity or protection up. Because of Padme, with protection up, you won't be able to critically hit them. So this will also help you a little bit if they do have dispellable protection up buff, that he can go ahead dispel that, as well as critical damage immunity. Then he can land a critical hit and hopefully take 4 enemies out with a big AoE. Then here Stark at Relic Free, also just modded for some speed and damage. Got Thrawn here, I just put my best speed set on him, got him to 337 just to make sure he goes first before any of the troopers do. And then finally got Range Trooper here, he's only gear 12, so he's not really here for damage. Mainly he's here for his unique ability, Power in Numbers. So anytime Imperial Trooper uses an ability, they have 50% chance to call somebody else to an assist. And the more assists we get, more attacks, more Emperor's Trap stacks, more turn meter. So that's how this team goes. So let's just jump now into the battle and let me show you. Alright, so here we go. So we need to make sure Throne goes first again, fracture Anakin so he doesn't bother us. Now we get our buffs going here. Just basics for now. Let's get more buffs, more damage, more buffs even. Keep the train going. Just basic here. Start working Kenobi. Now let's drop an AoE here with Veers. Alright, get Kenobi out. Almost gone. Come on, one more hit. There we go. So with Kenobi out, let's just put a hit or two on everybody just to get their protection down. And then we will try and line them up for a big AoE at some point. There we go. Oh, Padme, stay there, girl. Hang in there. Okay. Let's put a hit on Barry's there. Get her a bit lower. There we go. Excellent. And now, let's just here put more buffs here. And let's start hitting the crate now. So that we cleanse off all this damage over time so we don't get defeated. And as well as we're hitting crates, see our stacks of Emperor's Trap keep going up. And now we're quite high stacks here. Let's drop an AoE and boom. Everybody gone, including that precious crate. Completing the 2 remaining feats here in Sector 1 against Padme. So we completed the chain attack, taking more than 15 turns before they do. They actually didn't take a turn at all in the end and also defeated at least 4 enemies in the same turn. So there you go guys, that's how I completed here all feats in Sector 1 against Padme. So just using Vader there for his big Culling Blade, that one is straightforward. The chain attack as well is not that challenging as well. Just need to make sure Throne fractures there. Anakin, the only one a little bit that needs a little bit sometimes finesse is the Crush Them feat. But as you saw, as long as you get rid of the protection on everybody, their Piet, with around what was 45 stacks or so of Emperor's Trap, his AoE was big enough. When he critically hit it, he took everybody out. Alright guys, hope you find this video useful and helpful, showing you how I completed here in Sector 1 all the feats. Obviously I'll do all the other sectors there, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss them when they go live. But so thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one, but until then have fun, enjoy your life, and may the RNG be with you my friends.